Airing ahead on 12 News, a New Hope company making the world their playground.
It allows for that creative play. You know, we're transporting them to an alternate reality, an alternate universe.
Then you've heard about Minnesota nice, but just how nice? What a new report says about charitable giving. But first, something not so nice. What police are calling a possible hate crime in Maple Grove. 12 News starts right now. Police are investigating a case of vandalism at a Maple Grove church.
It happened over the weekend. As Sonia Goins reports, authorities think the incident might be a hate crime.
Makes it seem like there's no safe place in this world, even in a church service.
Church is supposed to be a place of peace, but that peace was disturbed this weekend when someone scribbled hateful messages on the front of Pilgrims United Church of Christ.
That is so sad.
There's a school in the church building that's not affiliated with the church, but they are saddened by what happened.
I feel great distress that someone would take the time to come into a place of worship and voice their opinions in such a disagreeable fashion.
Several eggs were also thrown at church windows.
Oh, there's the egg.
Police think the incident happened Saturday night or Sunday morning.
It looks like one of them was on the pillar right outside the church. So that's what led them to believe that they thought it may have even occurred during church service.
The vandals referred to Sodom and Gomorrah, cities in the Bible where a lot of sexual activities took place.
It's very insulting.
They also mentioned Leviticus 18:22. That Bible verse says, "Do not have sexual relations with a man as one does with a woman."
This message does cause a lot of distress in me because I think people should be able to voice their opinion in a different way, not in such a hateful way that causes pain and hurt in people.
Church officials really don't know why they were targeted, but they think it has something to do with their stance on gay marriage. The pastor is openly gay, and the church was very active in the Vote No campaign on the marriage amendment.
Based on the writings that were on the building, as well as the eggs were thrown at the windows, and the history of the wordings there, yes, I believe it could be a crime motivated by bias, yes.
In Maple Grove, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Maple Grove police want to find out if any other churches in the metro were vandalized. If you have any information, you're urged to give police a call.
A weekend crash in Brooklyn Park claimed the life of an Elk River woman. 63-year-old Louise Moyer was a passenger on a motorcycle that clipped the rear end of a truck. The crash occurred on northbound Highway 169 near 63rd Avenue. It forced authorities to close down northbound 169 for 2 hours on Saturday. Moyer's husband was driving the motorcycle. He suffered non-life-threatening injuries. The Golden Valley City Council will debate Tuesday whether to allow homeowners to keep chickens on their property.
Golden Valley's plan would require chicken coops to be 10 feet away from a resident's home and 50 feet away from a neighbor's property. As Delane Cleveland reports, the proposed ordinance comes with some risks.
We do this because we love all animals, not just dogs and cats.
Mary Britton Klaus keeps about 20 chickens here at her North Minneapolis home.
Every bird comes to us with a story.
However, most of those stories aren't happy ones.
Cal lost both feet to frostbite, and both feet had to be amputated. It's very painful.
Mary runs the only urban chicken rescue organization in the country. Each of the birds here once had an owner, yet Mary says that the owners didn't give the birds the proper care.
And they don't know what they're getting into. The birds get sick, they don't get vet care. They either let them die or they abandon them or leave them in shelters. People think they're going to have a constant source of cheap eggs. That's not the case.
Which brings us to Golden Valley, where the city council will debate whether to allow residents to purchase a license to own and raise chickens.
Several of the people have children, and they think it would be educational. And having chickens for eggs, they want to use those, to eat. And few of them might even want them as pets.
If Councilmember Joni Clausen gets her way, Golden Valley residents wouldn't get that opportunity.
First, we are not an agricultural city.
Clausen also has concerns about difficulties enforcing the ordinance and the effect chickens would have on neighborhoods.
Somebody might not be able to sell their house because the neighbor next door has chickens.
All right, sweetie, here you go.
Back at Chicken Run Rescue, the main issue on Mary's mind is safety.
We really think that it's most people are not capable of doing it right. That's been our experience.
Golden Valley Mayor Shep Harris had a different take. He said over the phone today that the city took 10 months to study the issue, and he called it a reasonable and balanced approach that is also respectful of neighbors. Mike and Alex?
All right, thanks a lot, Delane. Meantime, voters in Golden Valley will elect at least 2 new council members this fall.
That's because Paula Pentel and Dee Dee Scanlon tell 12 News they will not be running for re-election. Their terms expire this year. Pentel has been on the council for 9 years, Scanlon for 8 years. Golden Valley holds elections for city council seats in odd-numbered years. And another city council member seat will also be on the fall ballot. Stephen Schmidgall was appointed to replace Mike Freiberg, who won an election for state representative.
Schools are nearly out for summer, and when that happens, free meals for some children also end. The Osseo School District is trying to help families who struggle to feed their kids. Monday through Friday, the district will offer free breakfast and lunch at Zanewood Community School. It's open to anybody under the age of 18.
This is a community that has some high needs in terms of socioeconomic, and so the site qualifies to offer this program, and with all the other activities taking place in this building, we can make it work financially.
The free meals start in mid-June. Financial support comes from a federal grant. Well, there is something to the notion of Minnesota nice.
A new report shows Minnesota is one of the most generous states for charitable donations, and we sent Renee Bonneau out to find out what compels us to help neighbors in need.
Work never stops at Emergency Food Shelf Network in New Hope.
Today, sadly or wonderfully, we serve over 200 food shelves and meal programs, on-site meal programs.
The operation that started 37 years ago would never have grown to meet the area's growing needs if it weren't for donors. Food drives and food manufacturers and suppliers help stock the warehouse shelves. Financial donations help fund the nonprofit's programs. Others give their time.
The volunteers here, and there are a lot of them here today, there are a lot of them here every day, total 14 full-time employees.
Emergency Food Shelf Network isn't the only nonprofit reaping the benefits of generous neighbors. According to a report by the Tax Foundation, Minnesota ranks 5th for its percentage of tax returns claiming charitable deductions for 2011.
We're kind of looked to nationally as the state that has a lot of corporate philanthropy, a lot of corporate engagement.
The president of the Minnesota Council on Foundations says many are inspired by their employers' community involvement, but most often individuals get involved simply to help others.
We're a really highly engaged community of people in this state, and very communitarian in the approach that we use to sort of building the assets of our communities. And we have to give back to make that happen.
Whatever the reason, nonprofits like Emergency Food Shelf Network say they're thrilled with the results.
People are generally good, and people are generally wanting to help one another.
Minnesota Council on Foundations says charitable giving in the state dipped about 10% during the height of the recession. Donations are back up a little bit, but still have a ways to go. Well, still ahead, how the world really is, a New Hope company's personal playground.
And we'll take you inside the imaginative world of Create Play. And later in sports, another year, another state championship for a local adapted softball team.
But first, it's your AccuWeather forecast. You've probably heard the saying, if you find a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
A New Hope native and Armstrong High School grad has managed to make play his full-time business with a company that creates kids' play structures.
We're just putting the final touches on.
In his New Hope studio, Todd Lehman's got a 25-foot-tall ship that will soon sail to a public park in Virginia.
We're the creators of alternate realities.
Welcome to Create Play, a design and build company creating public play structures like you've never seen.
We want it to be completely different. If you came to me and said, I love that goose that you guys did, I want the exact same thing, you're not going to get that. They had cannons on them, we had the anchor on them.
With his customized one-of-a-kind designs, Todd creates play environments where kids of all abilities can let their imaginations run wild.
On here we've got a telescope that is at wheelchair level, so that somebody who might be wheelchair bound is able to look through the spyglass on that. There's all kinds of interactive touch panels on here as well that make all kinds of neat ocean sounds.
These creations end up in public places throughout the world. One of the most recent projects landed at Children's Hospital of Minnesota.
I think kids, you know, see images similar to these in storybooks.
The new whimsical Storyland Garden atop Children's Hospital in St. Paul includes several Create Play creations. From a fountain to interactive talk tubes, the area is designed to engage kids and help them escape reality as they begin to heal.
For children to heal, they do need to feel that they can just play.
Back at Create Play, New Hope native Todd Lehman has managed to turn play into a full-time business.
That's a slot machine. It's an old pinball machine.
Even the conference room doubles as a game room.
One of the things that I love to do every single day is to be able to allow creative people the opportunity to be creative. This is our worker ant.
The creativity here helps transport kids to another world.
He's very climbable.
A world where kids decide how to play.
It allows for that creative play.
Create Play started in 2005, and since they've created several hundred different play environments that can be found in city parks, hospitals, and malls around the country. And one thing, if you ever get to one of their play structures, they try to hide what he calls little Easter eggs. So on an animal, the kids might find little critters hidden in a palm or in a hand.
Something to look for, keep you interested.
That's right.
All right.
Well, we all have them, stories from our very first job.
Senator Amy Klobuchar has stories too. See what her first job was coming up. But first in sports, highlights from 3-section baseball tournament games. John Jacobson is in next.
The Champlin Park baseball team plays Tuesday against either Maple Grove or Centennial with the hope of getting another shot at top-seeded Coon Rapids in the Section 5 3A baseball tournament. The Rebels met the Cardinals in the winner's bracket final with Minnesota Player of the Year Logan Shore on the mound for the Cardinals. And Shore is on fire early, fanning the side in the top of the first inning. Coach Jerry Coe's Cardinals get on the board in the bottom of the first. Anthony Merloza at the plate, and he drives it a long way to left center for a double. Taylor Kroll scores, and it's 1-0 Coon Rapids. They extend the lead in the third. Jake Bruner with the hit. 2 runners score on the play for the Cardinals, including Kroll, as they build the lead to 4-0. Junior Daniel Kielb comes up with a big hit for the Rebels. He'll connect here against Shore. His liner to left has enough to clear the wall for a 2-run homer. The Rebels are right back in it, pulling within 4-2 in the 5th inning. But Coon Rapids adds some insurance runs in the 6th. Alex Boxwell delivers the hit with the bases loaded. 2-run score, and the 3rd runner, Jace Haig, looks like he'll be out, but the ball pops free on the tag attempt. He's safe too. Coon Rapids wins 8-2 to move into the finals. Champlin Park again plays on Tuesday. Now in Section 6, almost all of the tournament has been played at the Metrodome. Saturday morning, Wayzata met Edina in the winner's bracket final. Trojans' Connor Trigstead strikes out to end the first inning. Start of a big day for Edina pitcher Matt Hopfner. Hopfner comes through with his bat, too, in the top of the 3rd inning. He laces a hit into left center field. Ryan Searle scores on this, and Edina leads 1-0. Wayzata pitcher Ryan Wallstead throws a pretty good game, too. He gets Hopfner looking in the 5th with 1 out and the bases loaded. It's a big 2nd out, but Wallstead can't get out of the jam. Mark Handberg is the next batter, and he rips a hit to left. 2 runners, including William Vanderbilt, score, and the Hornets lead 3-0. And that is plenty of run support for Hopfner. He tosses a complete game 1-hitter as Edina beats Wayzata 4-0. After that game, Armstrong and Hopkins squared off in an elimination game. Armstrong takes the lead. Nick Malmgren drops a hit into short center field. Scores Jordan Kuznia, 1-0 Falcons in the 2nd inning. Next inning, Malmgren delivers again, slashing a hit through the drawn-in left side. Brady Johnson and Danny Carlson score. Armstrong leads 3-0 after 3 innings of play. Hopkins comes back in the 5th. Eric Edlund drops a hit into left field to bring Max Wiesner home. The Royals are on the board, now trailing 3-1. Eric Wickland follows suit. He'll go down and gets the low pitch, drops a hit into left field. Roman Carl scores and makes it 3-2, and they would later tie it on a wild pitch. So we're tied 3-3 in the 7th. JT 10 Harthog bounces it to the hole at short. The Falcons try to turn a double play and almost get it, but the go-ahead run scores. Then Hartog reaches. The Royals score a comeback 4-3 to eliminate Armstrong. The Royals, though, went on to lose to Wayzata 2-1. That puts the Trojans into Tuesday's championship round again against Edina. Also at the Metrodome, the Hornets need one win to take the section title. Wayzata will need a doubleheader sweep. In adapted softball, chalk up another state title for the Robbinsdale Hopkins Mound West Tonka Robins. The Robins meeting Dakota United for the PI Division softball title on Saturday. Dakota starts quick. Liz Kimmas hits, scoring Grayson Nicolay, and the Hawks lead 3-0 after half an inning. Bottom of the second, Jeremy Jose puts it in play for the Robins. 2-run score on the infield hit, and we're tied at 3. Dakota briefly retakes the lead, but the Robins get 3 in the 5th and 3 more in the 6th. Jost here with another run-scoring hit. Robins win their 5th straight state title in softball, 10-5, the final score. And that is a look at sports for today.
Thanks, John. Still ahead, something we all should take a little more seriously.
We'll be right back.
And finally, now is the time graduating seniors hear speeches and pep talks. But if there are words of advice to heed, perhaps it's from those of a granddaughter of a miner and the daughter of a school teacher and newspaper man.
When you get out there, you may not get your dream class that you take first wherever you go to school, or if you go right into the workforce, it may not be your dream job right away, or maybe your first summer job or your first job won't be your dream job. So my only advice is, having hired a lot of kids, having been in your position before, take your job seriously.
So what was Senator Amy Klobuchar's first job? Well, she took furniture inventory for then Vice President Walter Mondale and his 100-member staff. And Senator Klobuchar spoke at Wayzata's commencement address on Friday night, and she says some of the best friends she made and that she has today are those that she met at Wayzata High School. So
counting furniture.
yes.
For Senator,
for the Vice President,
Vice President
not a bad job. Yeah. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
We leave you with some patriotic highlights from Wayzata's graduation ceremony. See you tomorrow.